somewhere a long way from here. It is a warm evening in the middle of summer, and the light is only just beginning to go. That is where we are going tonight. You will not have to travel to get there. You will only be taken, the way you are taken into a room by somebody who has already opened the door for you. So let your body be exactly as heavy as it honestly is. Not arranged, not held still, not made comfortable on purpose. Only heavy, the way a stone lies heavy in long grass, without effort and without any opinion about it. The evening we are going to has been going on for hours already, quite happily, without you. Nothing in it is waiting on your arrival. Nothing in it will ask you a single question. It is the 9th summer of the new century, 1909, and the place is a village lying in a fold of the Somerset hills, with a river at the bottom of it and a church tower halfway up, and the whole valley just beginning to fill with that particular gold that only happens in the last hour of a long day. You come to it on foot, along a lane between two hedges, and the lane is doing all of the walking for you. It runs downhill, gently, the way lanes do when they have been finding the easiest way into a valley for 600 or 700 years, and your feet simply follow it. On either side, the hedges are high and untidy, and full of small ordinary things, hawthorn, hazel. A tangle of dog, rose gone over into hips. The dust of the lane is warm and pale, and it holds the heat of the whole day and gives it back up now around your ankles. Somewhere on the other side of the hedge, a field of hay has been cut and left lying, and the smell of it comes over to you in slow, generous handfuls, green and sweet, and faintly like tea. Ahead, where the lane turns, you can see the tops of 3 tall elms standing over something, and above the elms, a square gray tower. You are nearly there. There is no hurry about arriving. At the turn, the hedge drops away on one side, and the whole of it is suddenly there below you, laid out and lit. The village sits along the bottom of the valley in a curve, following the river without arguing with it. 40 or 50 roofs of old stone tile, gone silver gray and green with lichen, all of them leaning very slightly toward one another, as though they have been talking quietly for a long time. The church tower stands up in the middle, square and unhurried, with a weathercock that is not turning. Smoke rises from a dozen chimneys straight up, because there is not enough wind this evening to bend it. Beyond the last of the roofs, the hills go up again on the far side, and they are already going blue with the beginning of the dusk, though the village itself is still holding the light. From here, you can hear it faintly. A dog, a gate, somebody's voice raised for a moment, and then not raised again. It is the sound of a place putting its day away. The lane brings you down to the river, and over it, by a stone bridge so old and so narrow that 2 carts could never pass on it, and never have had to. You stop in the middle, because everyone does, and lean on the parapet, and the stone under your forearms is still warm from the afternoon. Below, the river goes by, not deep, not fast, moving over gravel in long ropes of clear water, and turning slowly in the pool under the arch. Weed lies down in it, combed all one way, waving very slightly. A trout holds itself perfectly still in the current, facing upstream, doing nothing at all except staying exactly where it is, which takes, you notice, no visible effort whatsoever. The water makes a sound under the bridge that it has been making without a single pause since long before this bridge, or this village, or anybody's grandmother, and will go on making all night, whether or not there is anyone standing here to hear it. Past the bridge, the road widens into the middle of the village, not really a square, more a place where 4 ways happen to meet, and everyone agreed to leave the space alone. There is a chestnut tree with a bench built round its trunk. There is a stone trough for horses, and a pump beside it with a long iron handle, worn bright and smooth at the grip by 100 years of hands. The buildings stand shoulder to shoulder around the edge. In that soft, honey-colored stone, the whole county is built from, with deep windows and doorsteps hollowed in the middle. A shop has its blind half down. On the far side, over a wide doorway, hangs a painted sign with a bell on it, and a lamp beneath the sign already lit, though it is not yet needed. That is where you are going. But not yet. Nobody minds when. The village is shutting up around you, gently, in no particular order. The baker sweeps his step with a stiff broom, 3 strokes and a pause, and 3 strokes, and the smell that comes out of his open door is the last warm ghost of a morning's bread. A woman takes in a tray of pears from a window ledge, one at a time, feeling each one with her thumb. The smith's fire has been damped hours ago, and his doorway stands dark and cool, smelling of iron and old ash. Somebody winds down an awning with a handle, and the awning comes in with a sound like a long sigh. None of them are hurrying. There is nothing about any of it that looks like the end of work. It looks more like the folding of a cloth, the same folds every evening, each one made without being thought about. As you pass, one or two people look up and give you the small nod that villages give to strangers who are clearly going somewhere sensible, and then go back to what they were doing. Under the sign with the bell on it, the door of the inn stands open, propped with a boot scraper, because on an evening this warm, there is no reason on earth to shut it. Inside it is cool and dim, and smells of stone floors, beer, and beeswax. A woman in an apron looks up from the end of the bar and says your room has been ready since 3, and there is bread and cold ham and a jug of cider whenever you want it. And if you don't want it, that's no trouble either. That is all. Nobody asks where you have come from, or how long you are staying, or what you do. Your room is up a staircase that turns twice and is worn into a shallow dip in the middle of every tread. The door has a latch, not a lock. The window is open. The curtain moves about an inch and then thinks better of it and stops. Your room has a low ceiling and a sloping floor and a bed with a white counterpane and one deep window looking out over the square. You sit down in the window and let the whole of your weight go into the sill and the wall behind you. From up here you can see everything, and nothing is happening. The chestnut tree has gone still. A cat crosses the square with great seriousness and disappears under a gate. The light has left the ground now and climbed up the buildings, so that the doorways are already in shadow, while the roofs and the top windows are still burning a warm apricot color. And the church tower is the brightest thing in the valley. You watch that line of light go slowly up the tower, foot by foot, the way you might watch a tide go out, too slow to catch in the act, but unmistakably further on each time you come back to it. High over the roofs, the swifts are working the last of the warm air. They are little black anchors thrown across the sky, going over in long curves and coming back, and every so often 3 or 4 of them tear across the square together with a thin, high scream that is somehow not a disturbance at all. Watch them long enough, and you'll see them climbing, spiraling up and up, higher than the tower, higher than the hill behind it, until they are only specks, and then not even that. Here is the thing we know now, that nobody in this village knows tonight. They are not coming down. A swift will spend the whole of the night up there on the wing, 3,000 feet above these roofs, sleeping as it flies, in a way that no one has ever quite been able to imagine properly. All night, while everything below is folded up in bed, they are turning slowly in the dark air over the valley. You do not have to picture it clearly. You only have to know it is going on above the ceiling. and then the bell. One stroke from the tower, unhurried, and the sound comes down over the roofs and out along the valley and takes a long time to finish. Then another. It is 8 o'clock, and this is the curfew bell, and it has been rung in this village at this hour for longer than anyone can tell you. The name comes from the old Norman words **couvre-feu**, cover the fire, because once upon a time it meant exactly that. Go and bank your hearth for the night, rake the ashes over the embers, make everything safe until morning. Nobody has needed telling for centuries. They ring it anyway, 8 slow strokes, and the fields take each one and hand it back a moment later, softer, from the far side of the valley. Somewhere below you, a door closes. The last stroke goes out over the hills and thins and thins, and does not quite ever end. It only becomes the evening again. Now the lamps begin. Not all at once, and not by anybody's arrangement, simply one, and then a little later another, as one household after another decides that it has become dark enough to bother. A yellow square appears in a cottage across the way, then a smaller, dimmer one 2 doors along, upstairs, behind a curtain. Then the long, low window of the inn beneath you throws a warm bar of light out across the cobbles, and a moth arrives to stand in it. From your window, the village turns, over about a quarter of an hour, from a place made of stone into a place made of small, warm windows, each one with a life going quietly on behind it that is absolutely none of your business. Somebody is washing up. Somebody is reading. Somebody has gone up early and is lying in the dark, listening to the same crickets you are about to hear. Below your window, there is a strip of garden between the inn and the wall, and as the last of the light goes out of it, it begins to smell. This is a real thing that gardens do. Certain flowers keep their scent shut all through the heat of the day, and open it only after dark, because the moths they are waiting for do not fly until then. So the honeysuckle over the wall comes on first, thick and sweet and slightly too much, and then the night-scented stalk down by the path, which is a plain gray, weedy-looking thing all day, and turns extravagant at dusk. The smell rises straight up the warm face of the wall and comes in at your window in slow waves. Moths are already at it. You can hear one of them somewhere near the ceiling, blundering softly and without any urgency, like somebody feeling their way along a dark corridor in a house they know perfectly well. Out in the long grass beyond the garden wall, the crickets have started, And once you have noticed them, you understand that they have in fact been going for some time. It is not one sound, but hundreds, laid over each other until the edges are gone. And what is left is a single, warm, continuous shimmer, sitting underneath everything else. Here is a small, useless piece of knowledge from 12 years ago, which you may use or ignore entirely. A man named Dalbear worked out that crickets keep the temperature. Count the chirps of one cricket for 14 seconds, add 40, and you have the warmth of the night in degrees. It works because they are cold-blooded, and a warm evening simply runs them faster. So the sound in the grass tonight is, in its way, a reading of how mild it is. You could count if you liked. You are not going to count. It is warm. The crickets have already said so. There is nothing further to establish. Beyond the last of the lamps, at the top of the lane, the churchyard is lying under its yews in the dark. 2 of those yews are older than the church beside them by several hundred years, which is the usual arrangement, and they stand very black and very solid with their branches let down almost to the ground. The grass between the stones has been let grow long this year and has gone to seed, and it holds the day's heat longer than the open ground does, so that walking through it, if you were walking through it, which you are not, would be like wading through warm, shallow water. The stones lean at every angle, and their letters have worn soft, and moss has filled in the deeper cuts. It is not a sad place at this hour. It is the quietest corner of a quiet village, full of people who finished long ago with all of the things you have not finished with yet, and who are not the least bit worried about you. The village is nearly done now. You can hear it running down. A gate is shut and the latch drops. A man says something short and comfortable to a horse, and the horse's shoes go across the cobbles 4 or 5 times and then stop, and a stable door rolls closed. Somebody calls a dog in from a doorway, 2 syllables, twice, patiently, and the dog does not come, and then does come, and the door shuts. In the bar directly below you, a chair is pushed back, and a glass is set down on wood, and 2 men go out into the square still talking, and their voices go away up the road and get smaller and turn a corner and are gone. There is a last splash of water thrown out onto stones, and then, for the first time since you came down the lane, nothing at all is happening anywhere in the village, and the crickets have the whole valley to themselves. The bed has been made up with linen that has dried outdoors, and when you lie down in it, it smells of the same air you have been breathing all evening. The mattress is old and deep and takes the shape you give it slowly, in stages, as though it is thinking each one over. The sheet is cool for the first few moments, and then is not cool anymore, and the single blanket over it is more of a formality than a necessity on a night like this. Your head goes into the pillow further than you expected. There is no need to be still. Whatever your body wants to do, the long, involuntary breath, the leg that shifts once and settles, the shoulders coming down half an inch further than you thought they could. Let it happen and take no interest in it. The room around you is dark and low and full of warm air, and the window is still open, and the whole of the evening is coming in through it, unhurried on its own. Lying here, you can feel, without particularly trying, that the whole village has gone down at the same time, the way it does every night, 40 or 50 roofs along the river, and under every one of them, people going quiet within half an hour of each other. The baker will be up before anyone, and is therefore already asleep. The horse is standing in the dark in its stall, with one hind foot resting. The cat that crossed the square is out somewhere doing its own business under the hedges. The fires are banked, exactly as a bell told everyone to do them 800 years ago. Nothing in this valley is waiting for anything, and you are in the middle of it, in a warm, dark room over the square, breathing the same night air as all of them, no different, no more required. Through the open window, if you turn your head on the pillow, there is a piece of sky about the size of a book, and it is filled with stars while you were not attending to it. There is no lamp anywhere in this valley strong enough to reach them, so they are all there, the bright ones and the faint ones together, in that grainy, overcrowded way that people who live under real dark take completely for granted. As you watch, they very slowly slide, the whole piece of sky in your window traveling steadily to the right, at the pace of the earth, which is not a pace anybody has ever had to keep up with. One star goes behind the edge of the window frame and is gone. Another will take about 10 minutes to come round the other side. You will not be awake to see it. And underneath everything else, so far down under the crickets that you have to stop listening for it in order to hear it at all, there is the river going under the bridge. It has not stopped since you stood on the parapet with your arms on the warm stone. It will not stop tonight. It is the oldest sound in the valley, older than the bell and the tower and the lane and the hedges. And it makes exactly the same sound whether it is being listened to or not. a long, low, continuous hush with a slight turn in it where the water goes round the pool. Your breathing has already found it. You did not do that. It happened while you were looking at the stars. In and out, a little slower each time, matched to a river that has never once had to try. Consider, for a last drowsy moment, everything that is being taken care of tonight without any assistance from you. The bell has been rung and does not need ringing again until morning. The fires are covered. The doors are on their latches. The horse is standing. The dog is in. The shop blinds are down. And the bread for tomorrow is already mixed and waiting somewhere in the dark under a cloth. High above the roof over your head, the swifts are turning slowly in the cold air, all night, without landing. The trout is holding its place in the current under the bridge, facing upstream, asleep in the way that fish are asleep. And the river is going by, and the crickets are going on, and the sky is going round, and not one of those things has ever, at any point, required you. The lamp in the room has burned down to almost nothing, and you are not going to get up and see to it, and it is not going to mind. Out in the square, the light under the inn sign is the last one still burning in the village, and it lights nothing but a circle of cobbles and one moth. The warm air moves in at the window, carrying the honeysuckle and the cut hay and the cold, clean smell of the river underneath them both, and moves out again. Your hands have gone heavy. Your jaw has let go. That small tightness behind your eyes that you carry all day, every day, and never notice until it stops. It has stopped. There is nothing left in this night that has your name on it. So let the valley keep the hours from here. The bell will ring again in the morning, and will not need you for that either. The river goes on under the bridge, hush, and turning, and hush again. And the crickets go on in the long grass, with the whole warm dark to themselves. And somewhere far above the roofs, the swifts are still up there, still turning, all night long. The window is open. The room is warm. The village is asleep along the river. Every one of its small lights out but the one. And nothing anywhere in the valley is waiting on you, or wondering about you, or coming to wake you. There is nowhere to be. There is nothing to finish. And you can simply sleep